First time since his introductory press conference, the new Browns quarterback, Deshaun Watson, took questions about the sexual misconduct lawsuits against him, where he continued to deny any wrongdoing.
I never forced anyone. I never assaulted anyone. So that's what, I've been saying it from the beginning, and I'm going to continue to do that until all the facts come out on the legal side.
All right, so these comments come just a day after a report from Houston yesterday indicating that there will be 2 more civil lawsuits filed against Watson. There is now a 25th and 26th accuser. Right now, the current number of lawsuits, 24, but that number, as I mentioned, will go up to 26. And there is a date that we've got circled on the calendar for what's coming next. The court there has set a deadline for June 30th for pre-trial discovery.
Well, we want to get more in-depth on this, and attorney Walter Madison joins us now. And you have experience. You dealt with one of the Steubenville football players in the rape case. It was a very high-profile case and a little controversial, obviously, too.
Right.
So with Deshaun talking today and all of this that just kind of seems to keep billowing, how are things looking legally?
Well, the fact that he spoke is some indication that he's, in his mind and his attorney's minds, they're clear of any criminal prosecution. So that's where your words you would want to be careful that they're not used against you. However, speaking, I think, showed some transparency on his part. I think it showed his willingness to answer questions, engage the topic, and show some sort of vindication, if you will, in advance, because we know that these 2 complaints may be coming, and it's important for perception, because this matter's playing out in the media.
It is. That
he appears to be strong in light of the avalanche of allegations.
It's been one hit after another for Watson. First, it was the HBO special. Then the number went from 22 to 24, now 24 to 26. We also had the 66 number in the New York Times. That was the number of masseuses he had used in a 17-month span. So you're taking all these hits. If you're Rusty Hardin, his attorney, do you advise him to speak today, or would you advise against that?
I think it's an okay move. I think that in light of all of the allegations, I think one of the things that's really important is for people to understand that there's a benefit and there's a burden to playing this thing out in the media. For Mr. Hardin and Deshaun Watson, it's important to balance the allegation and the scale, so to speak. He has to be able to say something to his advantage to balance the perception, because as we sensationalize this matter and it's everyone's interest, we need to be able to show that he has some defense. And I think one of the greatest things is the fact that the grand juries, plural, chose not to pursue any criminal charges. So at this point, they're talking points. And I think at this point, it's important for him to have something said in effort to balance.
Okay, so the criminal case is out, but the potential for 26 civil cases still there. Do these actually go to trial?
Well, largely not. However, it's important to understand that they're just accusations at this point. And anytime there's an accusation is made, credibility is the #1 factor to be evaluated. And what we know from these individuals, these plaintiffs, these accusers, is that they're accusing him of doing something. And we also know that a criminal grand jury has said twice no criminal activity has occurred. And it's quite easy, as the old adage would go, a ham sandwich can be indicted. Well, that didn't happen, and then there were even more that didn't even make it to that stage. So from the plaintiff's point of view, this is great. We're gonna put a line in the sand. If you're pro this, join our camp. If you're anti this, you're going to join our camp. And that's the way essentially it's playing out. And to his advantage, he being Deshaun Watson, I think his transparency helps. I think the fact that the grand jury denied helps.
All right. Walter, thank you very much. Great information. Like everybody else, we're going to watch and see how this thing plays out.
For sure.
Thank you very much. You'll come back, right?
Yes, I will.
Okay,
great.